Good afternoon. I don't know that I've ever done a Facebook Live for my friends. I've done them for my team, but this is different. So um, hopefully everything works fine. Um, so I was actually getting on here to do a video because I wanted to share about a change that I'm making in my Young Living business. And as I was kind of thinking about what I would be saying, I thought, it's really only going to make sense if I kind of explain a little bit about my health journey. And so I want to start out by saying that I'm not anyone super special, and my journey is not anything really that special either, but I just feel like it will be helpful for you to understand where things are going if I share a little bit about that. So, hey guys. I wanted to start by just sharing. I know I have some friends that are relatively new. I've got some people that I just recently met. And so I wanted to share first off that I am in my early 30s. I'm married. I have 6 children. All of our kids were born in like an 8-year time span. So it was boom, boom, boom. And so it was a little crazy there for a while. My hormones were up and down and all over the place. And over the course of my 6 pregnancies, I gained a little bit of weight and kept it on with most of them. So in November of 2012, a friend of mine suggested that I take a look at Young Living. She said, "Hey, I know that you guys are really naturally minded, and I know that are really looking for good options for just keeping your family healthy. And so I think this might be something you're interested in." And so, having heard of essential oils but not really knowing too much about them, I decided, like I do with everything, well, I need to do a ton of research. So that's what I started doing. I started researching like crazy. I had, multiple people suggesting different companies. And so I did a ton of research, and I wound up with Young Living feeling that that was the best choice for our family. I was really confident with that. But I didn't really know how to use the oils. So in November, I bought a kit, which at the time did not come with a diffuser. And you guys, I didn't know there were like little likes. That's so fun. I didn't know what to do with them. And so basically, I was pregnant, and I just sort of stuck them in my nightstand drawer, and then they sat there until the next summer, really. And I wasn't sure what to do with them. So anyway, at that point, I started kind of delving in and looking at the benefits of using them on a regular basis, because I was kind of just using them. Hey, Lori, you inspired me to do this video, so thank you. I was kind of just using them here and there sporadically and not consistently. So I just thought, I've seen other people with benefits, and so I'm just going to try it. So anyway, we delved in, we got on Young Living's monthly auto ship program and started buying other things. And the reason that I say a lot to people that Young Living really changed my life is because this was kind of the catalyst for me. Oh, you guys, this is funny. It says, "Congratulations, this is your most watched live video yet." Yeah, it's my first. Young Living, buying a Young Living starter kit was kind of the catalyst for me in terms of really delving into good health. I had been researching some other things up to that point. We had kind of stopped doing medications. We had cut back on a lot of other things that are very mainstream that I was no longer comfortable with. But in terms of my personal health, this was really the jumping point for me. So since Mama kind of runs the house, this was sort of the jumping point for our family. So that was November 2012. So in June of 2013, I had my 6th baby, and thanks. I had my 6th baby, and I was exhausted, and all parents are exhausted, but I was like super, super exhausted. And that fall, after a morning of pancakes for breakfast, when I felt like I literally had to lay down and take a nap, I said, we have got to change something. Like, something is going on. I always knew that wheat made me tired, but I didn't have any comprehension of what it was actually doing to me beyond that, things that I couldn't even see or feel at the time. So in September, I decided I was going to try out a gluten-free diet. We had started my daughter on it earlier, and we'd seen some results with her, so I decided that I was going to try that. And so I dropped gluten from my diet, and I suddenly felt really good. I was still tired because I had 6 kids running around the house, and we were trying to homeschool, but I wasn't, just exhausted all the time. So that was really eye-opening for me. Even though I had seen it with my daughter, I had to see it myself, I think, for me to really get that it was a huge deal. What we put into our bodies is so crucial, and it has so much to do with how we feel and how our body functions. And that seems like so obvious now, but at the time it just did not register for me. I didn't see food that way. So that was September. In January then of the next year, so a few months later, I was weighing in at like 190 pounds. So I'm like 5'5", which was pretty overweight for me. And I was tired of it. I knew that that was part of the reason that I was so tired. And I knew that there was no reason really that I needed to weigh that much. So it was a lack of self-discipline. So even though I had cut gluten out of my diet, there were a lot of other things that needed to go. But I wasn't totally convinced that that was really where I needed to be all the way. So I started kind of experimenting, trying to watch what I ate a little bit better. And then in March, I decided I was going to do a Whole30. So if you're not familiar with the Whole30, talk to me later. We'll talk about it. I'm doing one right now, but I decided I was going to do the Whole30 March. So I started it, and like a week into it, we found out that we were going on vacation. And someone basically just offered us a vacation, and so it was not planned, very spur of the moment. So I wound up just doing a whole 17. But during that time, I found that what I was eating was delicious real food. And not only was it delicious, but I was losing weight like really quickly because, like I said, I was fairly overweight. So, when you've got 30 or 40 pounds to go and you suddenly cut all the sugar and all the grains out, you're likely going to drop some pounds. So I started losing a little bit of weight. Then we went on vacation. And while we were on vacation, I made this really stupid decision to have a donut. And so it had been about 6 months since I had a donut. And so I had a donut, and then, they were Krispy Kreme, so I had 2 donuts. And you guys, I was so stinking sick. For like 2 days of our vacation, I was so sick. Don't do that. Don't not eat gluten for 6 months and then have 2 donuts. It's stupid. Don't do it. But that was the point where I was like, okay, gluten is not happening on purpose ever again. I was so sick. So anyway, so that was vacation. So we came back from vacation. The next month, I decided I was going to start running. And I had not run I'd never really competitively run, but I had done a lot of sports in high school and through junior high. And so I had known at that point in my life that I was having a hard time running because I just really wasn't able to breathe very well. But thankfully, I was able to find some natural things to help me with that. And so I was able to start running in April. This was 2 years ago. And that was really empowering to me because I had never really felt like I could do that much for my health, which again, sounds so silly when I just say it that way, but it was just a moment where I realized I can do this. Like, I have control over some things and I should do the right thing with that control. So anyway, so that was April. At some point during the next, maybe 9 months, I decided I was going to run a half marathon. So I signed up for the mini marathon here in Indy every May. And so I continued running, and I did my first half marathon last May in 2015. And that again was a moment for me where it was like, wow, I actually can do things. Like, this is really cool. So I did that. And if you've ever run a marathon or a half marathon, usually there's a push for you to sign up for the next year right away, which is great because you were like on this high. And so immediately you're like, yeah, absolutely, I want to do this again. It'll be great. So I got home, crashed, got back up, and signed up to do the mini the next year. Yes, you know what? I'll do another video on the Whole30. That's a great idea. Thank you. But you can send me a message too later. So I did that, and then I had, committed myself to another half marathon, which was okay. But when fall rolled around of last year, I was still weighing in like the 170s, which was fine, but I knew that I wasn't doing my best. And that was the point where I said, I think I'm just going to do like a paleo style diet, which is just really being intentional about the food that you're putting into your body. And so I cut out almost all of my sugar, my grains, a lot of the dairy, which we don't do a ton of dairy, but quite a bit of dairy. And then, oh, good, we might do it again in January too in our team. So I started doing that in October, and I lost about 15 pounds then throughout the rest of that year up through January. So I was excited because that was really like I had just been sitting there for like a year in the 170s thinking, I can't do this. So that was another encouraging moment for me to see, okay, there are breakthroughs. I can still work harder. I can still do this. So, so in May of this last year, I ran my second half marathon. I meant to go back and look at the times. I don't remember. But I want to say I broke my record by like 30 minutes, which when you're running 13 miles, I don't know if that's significant. For me, it was very significant. I beat the goal that I had, and that was really exciting for me and really encouraged me to continue working. And then in September, I don't know what got into me, but I decided, well, paleo is nice and it's good and it's working well for me and I'm maintaining my weight, but I think I'm going to try a Whole30. And so basically a Whole30 is no grains, no legumes, no dairy, and no sugar, no sweeteners of any kind except for fruit in its natural form. So I decided it would be easier if I could get some other people on board with me because it's always good to have accountability. So I logged into my team Facebook page, my Young Living page, and I said, okay, guys, here's the plan for October. Who's with me? And so several people jumped on board and I was really excited, and some of them are watching right now. So I was really thankful to have that little group together, and I've enjoyed it. We're on day 12. Most of us are on day 12 today, and I'm really loving it. But the best part for me was I kind of just threw this out to my husband thinking, oh, he's not going to be interested. But I told him, like the end of September, I said, so a group of us are going to be doing the Whole30 next month. Do you want to do it with us? And he said, I can still have black coffee? I said, yes. And he goes, okay. So honestly, I was shocked, but excited because it's just always nice to have your husband on board with whatever it is that you're doing. And so as we started kind of preparing for it, I said, do you think we should have the kids do it with us? And he said, sure. So we decided to do it as a family. And so the way that I said to my kids that we were doing it was, I just told them, we're doing an experiment for the month of October. Here's what we're eating. Here's what we're not eating. And so, when you go to church on Sunday, you're going to have to just not have the candy. And we're not going to have s'mores at the campfire. Maybe we'll have banana boats or something. But that's what we're doing for October. And because they're kids, and like Lori said earlier, you get to choose what they eat and they get to choose if they eat. They said, okay. So that's what we're doing right now for the month of October. And I know that Darren already said he's planning to do it in January. I'm actually thinking about already leading a second group through in January because I know there's some people in our Facebook team that were interested in doing that also. So anyway, that's a quick summary on my last 4 years and sort of how my health journey has progressed and why Young Living is really important to me because like I mentioned at the beginning, it's really been a catalyst for all of these changes for me. And so all of that to say that when I first started out, I started with essential oils, which is fantastic, and oils are marvelous and I love them, but oils are not the fix. They're not the end all be all, and they can't do everything, and they shouldn't do everything. We need to be taking care of ourselves in other ways and not just trying to band-aid over things, especially because that can be a common thing when people first get started. And that's kind of how I was using them when I first started. And that's okay, but it should lead to other changes as we're starting to see how the body works and things like that. So when I started and I was just using oils, I was creating kind of my team, I was trying to get all my ducks in a row and make things legal and businessy. And so when I chose my business name, I chose the name Wellness Oils, which is great because the oils are great for our wellness. But as things have progressed over the last couple of years, I've realized that I don't want my business name, to give off this vibe that oils are wellness, period. They are helpful for overall wellness and they're marvelous for your health, but I just didn't want it to be so limited to essential oils. I wanted it to be an overall, this is your life. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to incorporate all of these good healthy habits and not just oils. So that's why, if you've already seen it, possibly if you follow my public Facebook page, I just this week changed my business name to Healthy Happy Homes. And I'm very excited because I feel like this encompasses so much more of what my goal is for me, and what our goal is as a family, and what our goals are for all of you, especially those of you who are already a part of our Young Living team. We are so excited that you're all Young Living members, but we also really want to encourage you to be overall healthy. So emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, physically healthy, and not just oil users. So that's the direction that I'm going with my business. And so if you see, sometimes I share from my business page, and usually it says Wellness Oils. Now it's going to say Healthy Happy Homes. So that's what's going on there. And so I wanted to tell you that. I also wanted to thank Lori. I had to write this down, you guys, because this is my life. Lori, thank you for doing your videos this week, because you inspired me to do this. I've never done a Facebook Live, I don't think. So thank you for that. And also, I know I'm not like super special celebrity or anything, but a lot of people have said to me over the years, "Oh, I would love to be a fly on the wall in your house," or, "How do you do this?" or "How do you manage this aspect of homeschool or cooking with your kids," or whatever. And so my goal is to maybe try to do some more live videos just as we're kind of doing life. So if you saw the video that I shared from Lori Bori yesterday, I think it was yesterday, she was talking about how they use their einkorn wheat. And so I would love to do some of those. So that's kind of my goal. So anyway, so to sum up, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was profitable for you. I know many of you have asked kind of about my journey, and I thought it would be the best way to explain where my business is headed. So again, thanks. This was really fun, and the interaction was really cool. So hopefully I'll pop back in sometime soon, and we'll see how that goes with the kiddos all running amok and all of that. So, all right, well, have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you later. Bye.